These are this afternoon's top stories. Roads in constituency number 7 get an upgrade. Barbados Cancer Society raising awareness of prostate cancer. And military threat looms as Gambia's former leader clings to power. Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today is Thursday, January 19th, 2017. I am Shaira Flanders. Nationally, on Tuesday, Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris toured the newly paved main road leading to the Grange Nursing Home and Healthcare Facility and the newly paved side roads that lead into Otley's housing extension. Prime Minister Harris, who is also parliamentary representative for the area, said he was pleased by this accomplishment. He said, quote, "The Grange Health Facility came at great sacrifice to the proprietors, particularly Mrs. Leader, who wanted to give back to her country via a high-quality service for the elderly in particular. She made the investment, but the quality of the road was a drawback to her business, as well as a terrible inconvenience to those who need to drive to and fro," end of quote. Owner of the Grange, Mrs. Patricia Richards Leader, thanked the Prime Minister for the newly paved road.
I'm very excited actually, and I feel, what a wonderful Christmas gift. Not just to me, but really for the residents of the Grange and also for the extension of the Grange. What a wonderful gift. I'm really, grateful for this administration to really listen to us at last, and we are so really grateful. I mean, the road doesn't lead to nowhere. It leads to a very beautiful establishment.
The Prime Minister also thanked the Minister of Public Infrastructure, Honorable Ian Liebert, for his timely response to the project. While at the Grange Nursing Home and Healthcare Facility, Prime Minister Harris interacted with the residents and their care providers. The Grange, which was established 17 years ago, has over 30 residents from St. Kitts and Nevis, the Caribbean region, and the United States. On Wednesday, St. Kitts welcomed for the very first time the Carnival Vista, which has a maximum capacity of nearly 4,000 passengers. The Carnival Vista is from the Carnival Cruise Line and is scheduled to make 3 other calls to St. Kitts this cruise season. Minister of Tourism, the Honorable Lindsay F.P. Grant, said he was extremely pleased to welcome the Carnival Vistas to St. Kitts. He also reminded stakeholders in the tourism industry to provide the best possible service to visitors to, quote, ensure that we sustain our reputation as the most welcoming Eastern Caribbean cruise destination, end of quote. Last week, the St. Kitts cruise sector experienced a historic projection of 16,000 visitors in one day from 5 cruise ships. On Wednesday, St. Kitts saw the arrivals of the Celebrity Eclipse, Costa Favolosa, Royal Clipper, and the Carnival Vista. According to a statement from the Tourism Authority, St. Kitts is on pace for another record-breaking year in cruise passenger arrivals. Cruise ships will make a total of 391 calls to St. Kitts this season, with 16 new ships arriving here for the very first time. Deputy Commissioner of Police Hilroy Brandy says the force takes every allegation against a police officer seriously, but investigations take time and he's calling for patience. His comments come as an investigation is on the way into an accident in Nevis involving a police vehicle and claims that a civilian was robbed by officers. On Thursday, police reported that officers responded to a call about a suspicious vehicle in Rollins Village and found a man alone in the vehicle. The police say they gave the man a lift home, but as they were leaving, he climbed onto the roof of the police vehicle, struck an officer in the face, and that led to the crash. However, the police have also stated that the man filed a report against the officers involved, claiming that they robbed him. Deputy Commissioner Brandy said, quote, "Our officers are sworn to protect the public, and the police service takes every allegation against an officer as a most serious concern and follows with an appropriate investigation. We hope that the public and the media can resist the desire to make a judgment at this time and let the matter be fully investigated," end of quote. Deputy Brandy said investigations require time and thoroughness to ensure the protection of the rights of all involved. Tsunami Readiness and Response formed part of a presentation by the Deputy National Disaster Coordinator, Clarissa Langley-Stevens, to the Rotary Club of Lyamiga St. Kitts on Wednesday. The presentation was made at a Rotary Club breakfast sitting, which was hosted at the Royal Beach Golf Club in Frigate Bay. This is part of an ongoing partnership between the Rotary Club and the National Emergency Management Agency, or NEMA, with regard to the sharing of information on aspects of comprehensive disaster management, or CDM. Mrs. Langley-Stevens shared with the gathering copies of the recently developed tsunami evacuation maps while explaining the roles and responsibilities of persons and communities in the event of a tsunami impact. Mrs. Langley-Stevens said, quote, "Although the maps are new, we are already engaged in updating and tweaking the information, as this program is still very much a work in progress," end of quote. St. Kitts Nevis received the tsunami ready status late last year following the completion of some required tasks, including developing the maps in collaboration with the Physical Planning Department and a number of local and overseas stakeholders. The tsunami evacuation maps are available at NEMA headquarters, Lime Keen, while the updated e-maps will be made available online in the upcoming months. Moving on to news on the regional scene, the Barbados Cancer Society took the message on prostate cancer to Polo to raise funds and awareness. We hear more in this Nation News Barbados report.
480 people die from cancer every year in Barbados, and more than 100 of them are men with prostate cancer. The Barbados Cancer Society took this message to the polo field over the weekend in the form of a fundraiser at the Holders Hill ground. 4 teams took part in the Polo for Prostate event, where the Barbados Cancer Society edged prostate cancer 5-4. In the first match, Everton outplayed the red team to win 6-3. At the end of the evening, the 4 jerseys from the winning team were also auctioned off. Funds will go towards the purchase of new machinery for the Cancer Society.
The mayor of Castries, St. Lucia, has ordered a crackdown on a wide-ranging number of offences in the city. HTS's Miguel Favory has the details on that story.
Calling it one of his toughest battles faced, Peterson Francis says the Castries Constituencies Council is continuing with its aim to improve the aesthetics of the city of Castries. As such, the CCC plans to effectively deal with a pet peeve of not only the organization, but also business establishments, city residents and visitors to Castries. Urination and defecation in many areas of the city has been a long-standing problem for these groups. Mayor Francis revealed, with the newly established city police taking the lead, individuals found committing those acts outlawed in the island's criminal code will be dealt with accordingly.
Effective immediately. You will be charged, and made to pay found urinating, defecating, littering and spitting in the streets, building corners or any other in the city. This will be enforced, and members of the public are asked to be guided accordingly. Currently, there are 7 comfort stations in the city. They are located on High Street, to the back of the council, on Lower Jeremy Street, near Customs, Jeremy Street Plaza, Fuashu, Pavi, New Village, Leslie Land, Wilson's Yard, Marsha, near the bridge, and one soon to be commissioned in the Marsha Boulevard. We also have comfort station in Rosehill, Castries Market, Vendors Arcade, Darling Road Plaza, and Babonu bus stop.
While acknowledging that the facilities are limited in number, Mayor Francis promised the construction of additional comfort stations. Apart from urination, defecation and spitting laws, legislation regarding loitering, indecent exposure, walking around the city bareback and illegal parking will be enforced. Trucks carrying goods uncovered and vehicles transporting lumber without a red flag attached to them will also be penalized. Deputy Anselma Cauldron has endorsed the mayor's stance.
This morning, I stand and support in support of the statement of the mayor, and encourage us, all of us, to do everything possible to ensure that our little island truly stands out. One of the aim of this council is to make St. Lucia one of the most, or the most attractive island in the region. And I think this is where we begin. The campaign is an immediate one, and I say immediate because even this very session today speaks to education, sensitization. We will also be writing to some key persons like our bus drivers, our taxi drivers, because you'll agree with me that the clients, individuals who travel on their buses, may just jeopardize their relationship with the council. So we'll be writing to them as stakeholders, critical stakeholders, so that they can update their members, their clients, and assist us in this campaign.
As it relates to the offence of loitering, Mayor Francis believes the surveillance of and crackdown on loiterers is critical in tackling the petty crime situation in the city. Miguel Favory, HTS News Force.
And on to news on the international scene. Adama Barrow is expected to be inaugurated as president of Gambia on Thursday, but Yahya Jammeh, who lost the election last month, is clinging on to power despite his tenure ending at midnight local time. Jammeh, who has ruled for 22 years, rejects the election result despite initially accepting defeat. West African countries are now threatening military intervention. Al Jazeera's Victoria Gattenby has the details on that story.
Mauritania's leader arrived in Senegal in the early hours of Thursday morning. President Aziz hopes his shuttle diplomacy will result in a peaceful end to the political crisis in the Gambia. He and Senegal's Macky Sall met President-elect Adama Barrow to reiterate their support for him. Hours earlier, President Aziz was in the Gambia to convince Yahya Jammeh to step down as leader. Afterwards, he said he was hopeful that military action to remove Jammeh would not be necessary.
I had a consultation with my brother, President Jammeh, and I am now less pessimistic. We will work on a peaceful solution, which is in the interest of everyone in Gambia.
President-elect Barrow was due to be sworn in on Thursday at the National Stadium in the Gambia. The Senegalese foreign minister says the inauguration will now take place at the Gambian embassy in Senegal.
President-elect Barrow will be sworn in on Thursday on Gambian territory. He'll form his government, he'll name his vice president, and the international community will join him.
Jammeh has ordered the arrest of officers who supported Barrow and those that are not from his own Jola ethnic group. Jola have mostly voted for Jammeh during the election and the Madinka majority for Barrow. Analysts say Jammeh loyalists will stick with him till the end.
The two groups particularly that I would be concerned about if I were in Gambia would be the Jungalur, which is a paramilitary group, and then the State Guard, which are effectively his private police. And those people are very loyal, and I wouldn't be surprised if he finds himself cornered by African troops, that they put up a bit of a fight.
West African countries are threatening military intervention to remove Jammeh if he does not step down. Soldiers from 5 nations are on standby, including Nigeria, which has moved a naval ship and fighter jets closer to the Gambia. Victoria Gatenby, Al Jazeera.
An Asian American rock band has appeared before the U.S. Supreme Court to defend its name. They call themselves, quote, the Slums, as a way of attacking racist stereotypes of East Asian people. But authorities are not allowing the name to be registered as a federal trademark. Here's more.
The Slums say they're the first and only all-American Asian dance rock band in the world. They were inspired by a long tradition of those marginalized due to their race, gender or sexual orientation who appropriated the language used against them.
Slanted eyes. And I thought, that's great. Because number one, it's not true. And number two, we could talk about our slant on life of what it's like to be people of color.
But when the band attempted to federally register their name as a trademark, the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office declined their application. The USPTO said it was against the law to register names that disparaged others. Because the Slums are Asian American, authorities decided it would be impossible to untangle their name from the racial slur. But of course, that's exactly why they called themselves the Slums in the first place.
In essence, what they're saying is anyone can register a trademark for the slants as long as they're not Asian.
The government took the case to the Supreme Court.
The government says, no, not until people don't see it as disparaging to them anymore.
But this case isn't being discussed in a legal vacuum. In 2014, the Washington Redskins lost their federally registered trademark after authorities ruled the name was racist towards Native Americans. The case is still being fought in court, but all sides in the Slants case are aware if they succeed at the Supreme Court, it may set a precedent for the football team to exploit. Simon Tam says some in the Asian American community, even those once supportive of the band, fear a backlash if they succeed. And while he feels the Redskins is a racist name for a football team, trademarks are the wrong vehicle to fight back.
They didn't want to be seen as a potential ally to the football team. If we treat trademarks as another way for the government to legislate hate speech, then what we do is give yet more power to a group that for centuries has gotten it wrong when it comes to racial relations in this country.
But the government insists it can't be seen to be encouraging the use of a racist term.
People are self-consciously, hipster racist about it, but it's still racist.
The Redskins will make billions, federal trademark or not. The Slants fear no record company will touch them if they don't have a legal presumption of ownership over their name. Shihab Ratansi, Al Jazeera, Washington.
And now for the weather. The weather is currently fair. Winds are gentle from the north-northeast at 12 miles per hour. Seas are slight to moderate with swells up to 5 feet. The weather forecast predicts mostly sunny skies today and mostly clear and chilly conditions tonight with little or no shower activity. Sunset today is at 5:59 p.m. and the sunrise tomorrow will be at 6:35 a.m. That brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am Shaira Flanders. Have a good one.